learn so much from it. Now, we're going to continue with this conversation, and of course to see what we're able to benchmark and what we can bring to our Ugandan football. Now, I was having just a conversation here, and perhaps I'll say that maybe there was something that maybe we might have missed there. You say that the benefit first and foremost is that the leagues come together, right, in this association, and they, of course, push with their interests, right?
Yes.
I did ask a question earlier on about maybe what are some of the different, if their interests are a bit similar. But I'd like to get to know, basically, the benefits, first and foremost, of the World League Association. We are an observer. We're not yet part and parcel of the association. If we were to join the association, what would be the benefits that the Uganda Premier League would be getting about being in this league?
Well, thank you. Now, interestingly, first and foremost, being a member of WLA as a league, you are, all those other leagues, right, have an arrangement where that, maybe like UPL, for example, can at any time go and check out maybe La Liga or Serie A anytime. They arrange for a benchmarking trip anytime you prefer, only if you are a member, right? Because it's the onus is on them to grow their members, right? Because there are costs that you're supposed to be incurring as a member. So the idea is we help you grow your commercial base so that you can be in position to afford the membership, requirements and all that. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you're giving access or opening up the doors for your clubs. For your clubs. Like right now, in as much as we're not yet members, it's very easy for me to ask or to arrange for a friendly game with any league or any top club in any top league. Very easy, right? Because you can talk to the person directly, not through an agent, not through anyone. You're like, guy, look here, this is what we're trying to do. Our best club, maybe who has won, for not to be biased, maybe like Chitara has won the league this season, and we are thinking that maybe like, let's have an arrangement where our best two clubs, in our league, come and play with your best two clubs. That discussion can be had. And that is growing the league, it is growing the players, it is growing the clubs. That synergy of partnerships. Secondly, there are very many brands that are putting football, sponsorship into football, but are interested in getting into the African market. But they're looking for where to start from, right? Others don't even know. Someone was asking me, do you have a broadcasting partner? And I'm like, yes, we do. They don't even know that we have all those things. So when we share these details and they're like, you know what, we have this, but we are open to this. We're open to having maybe an official shoe partner, because other leagues do have that. We are open to having Hablot as our official time person, sharing those, because these people talk to these guys directly since they've already given them the partnerships and the sponsorships. So me speaking to the guy who's in the J League, for example, give an example, that the highest number of cars here are from Japan. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm speaking to the J League guy, I'm telling him, you guy, in Uganda, I have over 4 million people who are driving. Of those 4 million guys, 3 million of them are driving Japan cars. Why don't you guys consider putting something here in our league? You get?
Yeah.
You can easily have those discussions, and they are open or listened to, given the audience, which can hardly happen if you're maybe just on the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's some interesting aspects about being part of the World League Association. But you say that, of course, one of the limitations is that the cost is a bit high. But we have 4 members, part of the World League Association from Africa.
Yeah.
And Uganda, of course, got a privilege to be part of the observers. Now, South Africa is one of the members, right? South African Premier Soccer League. I think I got to see Barcelona one time play a game in South Africa.
Yes.
I think you could say that in case we have that kind of, we were in a league, the World League Association, those are some of the things that perhaps could be possible.
Yes.
Getting some of the players, some of the teams coming here.
Yeah, because if you look at the arrangements that we're now discussing with most of these people, our football, what our football needs very much is actually the foundation bit, the talent, talent grooming and all that.
Yeah.
It is very easy for us to have arrangements. I'll give you a very wild thought, for example. If we spoke to a very good hotel here, right? We have a very good stadium here.
Yeah.
We have FUFA TV here, Media House. If we spoke to a very top club to do a training camp here of young kids below 15, right? That is something that can be done. Now, it could be, of course, you can't skill someone to become a top-tier, footballer in a month, but the exposure you're giving that person, the exposure you're giving our players, the exposure you're giving the club and the brands is too much. So the benefit for us, even right now as UPL, is big already because now, UPL is known amongst all those leagues.
Yeah.
They know our league is there. We are discussing very many other things, having arrangements on player transfers, as I mentioned.
Okay.
Agreeing that, guys, look here, we've given for example, some of those leagues, all their top talent, 60% of it is from Africa. We are saying, guys, the garden that you're getting these people from needs some weeding. You need some weeding. Yeah. There's some virgin land there where you need to plant some more nice players. We need the academies. And they're willing to come and do that here. Okay. So it's a very good opportunity for our league here and even for our young boys and girls who are into football. All
right, that's a huge opportunity, no doubt. Now, I wanted to shift a little bit here. One thing that you had mentioned earlier on is that during the discussion, you realize that players sometimes have rights that maybe they themselves don't understand beyond the football pitch. Now, this first regional meeting, which was, of course, a social dialogue meeting, which was held within these different entities to discuss the challenges of African football, it follows up a comment which, of course, was made by the president and also the president and I think the board member, or Jeremy, talking about Jeremy. Yeah. Yes, Jeremy Nijstap, I think that's how they pronounce it. Yes. He said that wherever players earn their livelihoods in teams big and small, they understand the value of national leagues. They recognize how these leagues contribute to their jobs and the sector as a whole. Now, I'd like us to first and foremost understand a little bit here, whereby they say that they understand the value of national leagues. For the players, you would say, what is the value, you would say, of the Uganda Premier League to Paul Muchirezi of NEC Football Club, or to Milton Karisa or Viper Sports Club? What is the value of the National League to these players and all the players in the Uganda Premier League? What feeds into the national team is actually the National League, right? Which is, in this case, is UPL. Yes. Right? Now, football is an entire ecosystem, right? It has FUFA TV as the media, it has the players, it has the coaches, but the pinnacle of all this ecosystem is the national team. You get? Yeah. I mean, we have even your global, so-called global preferred star players who have gotten all the championships, but have failed to get the World Cup, and are still bothered by that, because they want to get a trophy representing their country. So the national team is the top tier. If we track this down backwards, it comes back to what is next of the national team. It's the national top league, which is the Uganda Premier League. Which is below that, for example, maybe other leagues or other academies. You get? It's an entire ecosystem. So the benefit to these the players and the coaches of the national league is placement. Placement. Because this is the top tier league, not the UPL. People are struggling to join the Uganda Premier League meanwhile. Yeah. To come and join the Uganda Premier League. Even clubs are struggling. It's a real fight. They're struggling for points. You can see somebody was scored 6 goals recently. People are struggling to come to the top league. Now, when a club is in the top league, its visibility changes. Its value changes. Even the value of a player. You could be so talented, but if you're in a league that is not known, you're not helping anything. Nobody's buying. There is a common saying: if you're not selling, put down your poster. So if you're in a club which is not known, or a league that is not known, nobody's buying, because how will they buy from you anyway? Yeah. They can only buy what they know. That's the beauty of having a national league. Okay. Because the national league is more like a brief statement of these are the top players we have in the country. Yeah. So if you think you're the better player, come in the top league. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now, that is the value of the national league, and we're looking at the challenges that are facing, you know, the African football, particularly the leagues in this context, because it was focused on that. Now, let's look at the key challenges that were highlighted. Now, you talked about sponsorship being the major highlight.
Yeah.
That was, of course, talked about in terms of African football.
Yeah.
You have that as well. What were the key points that drove the discussion about the African challenges? Was it majorly just a sponsorship, or there are other as well areas that were tackled in this meeting?
Now, as I mentioned about this ecosystem idea, for example, Uganda Premier League.
Yeah.
We have the players, the coaches, you know. Now, let's speak of, okay, let's say like the customer experience. Entertaining football, right? If we need to have entertaining football, we need to have a coach who knows that very well, that script very well. That is another budget, right? We need to have maybe a better training facility. That's another budget. We need to have maybe like if you're marketing our players, we need to have all these kinds of cameras around them. We're having FUFA TV guys here, FUFA radio are here during the training sessions. That's another budget, right?
Yeah.
Now, everything evolves around the capacity of the clubs or of the league to actually push. There's a gentleman who was from PSG during that meeting. And in a week, I'm just giving you an example. PSG is a club. I think you know that. In a week, they release 1,000 slides of content. In 1 week. In 1 week. 7 days. 1,000 slides of content. Now.
Both videos and photos?
Yes, but 1,000. That's too big. That's a club. That's one club, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm trying to show is that we also have the content. We also have the players. But the cost implication, we can even shoot to, because I mean, if you have 16 clubs, each club, even if club does like 500, we could be in 10K. Slides of content about the local league. Weekly. Each club is doing maybe like 50 or, you know, depending. But the cost implication, the investment required, the talent acquisition required, the skill, the production sets, right? All that revolves back to financial capacity, which can only be enhanced by sponsorships and player transfers. So that's where the main discussion, because I mean, we know what we were supposed to be doing. We know that before a match we should be interviewing each player, we should be getting the training, you know, that vibe, you know, and push it around. But now you can't do it because you need more than 50 cameras. If you look at the production, just like on like game day, production, you need, if somebody says, I need a better view, that means I need a better camera. You know how much those cameras are. Yeah. That drives back to sponsorships, budgets. You understand?
Yeah.
So the whole idea for us as African leagues is to enhance our sponsorships. If you want to increase, for example, the experience of the fan, let's say like the fan enters, maybe, let me give an example. The fan enters maybe like a Ham or Philip Wamondi or Vipers Stadium. When the fan enters, we give them those 3D glasses. You know, as they're waiting for that game, they're watching Sambo highlights of how the club has been playing before, you know, that kind of thing. That would be so beautiful. People will be coming in for that, right? But the cost implication. You see? Now, because you can't enhance the experience of the client or of the football fan, you can't then get somehow some more fans.
Okay.
Now, because you can't get somehow some more fans, you somehow can't get more sponsorship, because the sponsor wants funds. The fans want better experience. Better experience comes from money. Money comes from sponsorship. How about you get the whole ecosystem?
The whole cycle.
So that was what was being discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you look at that ecosystem, and one thing that I think I got to see, you had you know, a written interview with one of the national newspapers here, and you talked about that and say that the engagement, you know, concerning the commercial rights, concerning the community engagement as well as the player welfare. You say that there were actionable strategies that you know, you're able to get from the meeting, which do align with the vision of the Uganda Premier League.
Yes, yes.
So what are some of those actionable strategies that now you're picking up? Because, you know, you're talking about, you know, the 3D glasses. I mean, that would be, of course, very expensive to bring at the Kabaka Chavagu Stadium, say, at this moment in time, maybe in the future. But what are some of the actionable strategies that you picked up from that meeting to help us improve and really benefit from this ecosystem?
No, one of the things we are doing right now, we've, for example, had engagements with Pan-African brands. There are brands which are purely into sports. Pan-African brands that are into sport purely. We've had numerous discussions with them for our rights. We're having discussions about our player transfers, making it deliberate, to at least have a number among our targets as the league, to have a number of what we are going to be pushing ahead, right, as far as transfers are concerned for the players. We are also looking forward to growing the knowledge of the game into the corporate people, them knowing that, guys, look here, this is the game that we have. We have these many numbers. This is how much you can benefit from it. We're also looking at making our clubs a big outside, beyond the country and the league in itself. Because we have, let me give an example. In UAE, we have over 200,000 Ugandans who are there, right? Yeah. So us having a game there, a big derby game from there can get us very good numbers. But there are also good investors there, right? So we are discussing enhancing the league's brand for it to go global. The same for the clubs, having top player brands as well to enhance, because the more we do those big transfers, the more information comes about our league, and the more we get known by people who are very much willing to invest in sport, especially in Africa. Okay. Yeah. All right, that is quite interesting. And I think I was just watching an interview of yours saying that very soon any Ugandan football fan of the Uganda Premier League will be able to get the games like on their phone. On their phone. If the game begins like this, you just tap your TikTok. You're on. Is that one of the other strategies that you're working on? There are very many. We are speaking to very many. We are engaging our current partners and broadcasters, even outside. We are speaking of getting more people to make sure that, because as I mentioned earlier, one thing we've come to realize is that people do love the game, but these young people might not be having that 1.5 hours, right? Yeah. So we have to make sure this content reaches them. But it can't reach them like 1.5 hours. It can reach them like 30 seconds, the goal, you know, that good dribble, you know, that the Dennis Omedi goal, that kind of thing. Yeah. That content. Now, after getting that content, there's distribution. It has to move. FUFA TV pushes, media pushes, what pushes, the influencers push, the artists push, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we're discussing a whole way of content distribution and creation for our league. And these are things that we're picking from the top leagues, definitely. Is this one of the targets for 2025? Most definitely, most definitely. Okay. By the start of the year, our league is going to be very different. That's why I'm telling guys that you should buy your seasonal tickets now, because the clubs are going to increase the money, because they're going to be having some good brands on them. Yeah, the chief commercial officer. So I do understand the language that you're using right now, but I hope that it is backed up by 2025. Now, as we end off this conversation, what next for you know, Uganda's involvement, after this involvement in this meeting and this dialogue? What next in terms of FIFPro and the WLA after this groundbreaking session which was held in Cairo? What did you agree upon, and now what's coming next? You as an observer, but also as the league's association after that meeting? No, of course, now the next thing is for us to form an African League Association, first and foremost, because it's not existent. After forming that, we also need one for the players. For the players by the players. That is just us telling them, not us doing it for them. Them having it. Because I do understand that, of course, the players must be facing some challenges, which we don't know, and which also the clubs might not know. But they need their own, somebody to represent them really, in some discussions. So we are going to have another meeting, of course, to discuss how to start that association, because we need it. Africa needs to be represented at the level of league football, because it hasn't been happening. But you can imagine the people that we admire in the big leagues are that much arranged They have the club association. They have their own European League association. You know, so when they want to speak to a broadcaster, if they want to speak to a partner, they decide as a whole chunk, as the association. Like in Africa here, if we are having maybe FUFA TV wants to become the official broadcast partner of maybe the top leagues, they'll simply have to speak to the Africa League Association, and they'll agree. And next thing, the synergy is built and everything is pushed beyond the borders of the continent.
I mean, now 5 of you were there in this meeting. How realistic is it in the next couple of years to see this African League Association maybe come to pass?
The first thing is knowing, of course. The first thing is knowing. So what we've been doing, we've been engaging other league heads through our CEOs, of course, other league heads, other league representatives, telling them, guys, this is what is on ground. Because, you know, in Africa, there are leagues. There are leagues who don't even have broadcast partners. The league, and the country is known, but they're not even on TV. Do you get?
Yeah.
But they're playing well. So we need to push this. So we're talking to these guys, like, guys, this is what we think we should do. You have the money. This one has the talent. This one has the broadcast partner. This one has the media. No, like for us, we have the media. Here, UPL, we have a whole media entity. Others don't have it. But then they have the money. So if we come together as one chunk, these are things that we can do. So we are engaging all of them. We must have at least a minimum of like 30 leagues. And then the association will be launched next year. All these things will be done.
All right, so we'll be waiting to see how that unfolds. Now, as we end this conversation, Jenkins, I think you are well aware, and you and the rest of your colleagues at the Uganda Premier League Secretariat must have been watching last night's CAF Awards. What do you think of, first and foremost, having Dennis Omedi from Gitara Football Club going to those spaces with the CAF Awards, but also the Pushkas Awards?
It's a very good, proud moment for us, of course, to see one of our very own on such a big platform. So we are proudly associated. We are proud, in as much as we expected a win
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, we are happy.
Yeah.
We are happy. We believe that has given us more visibility. It has pulled more eyes towards now following up. Where does this boy play from? Which league is he in? And all those things. So I think it's a very good opportunity for us.
I feel a little bit hard done that he didn't win that the CAF Award for Goal of the Year.
Well, we preferred he would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So very reserved with your words on that one. Earlier on the breakfast, we were having a whole discussion about it, saying that Dennis Omedi's goal was the top of the peak out of the 11 there, but over 121,000 voters decided that it was Mbalulu's goal that was much better. But that's that. Anyways, our time has, of course, gone quite fast.